Hello, America. I decided to do one more segment because I realized I didn't really touch off on something that sort of got me upset. President Bush has approved 20 billion in aid for the Arab nation for weapons and armaments to help them protect themselves. And I know in the past I've speculated that part of the Chinese buildup has come about as a result of their future sale of armaments to the Saudis, which may be why the Chinese government was meeting with the Saudis in the first place. We're going to sort of go globally on this one, but in their bid for 20 billion for the Saudi government, there's a secondary bid for 30 billion to the Israelis. So what they don't tell you about the Saudis is the Saudi government supports Muslim activists, which includes bombers, these suicide killers. I don't think suicide bombers is really a good, but they're definitely suicide killers. They don't speak up against it because it's part of their Muslim belief. When they tell you Arabs, they don't tell you Arab Muslims. When they tell you Israelis, they don't tell you Zionist Jew. You give one enemy a certain amount, you give another enemy a certain amount, you give them the means to make war, and by golly, they're going to make war. The Sauds have more than enough money to finance their own army. They can go around the globe picking up whatever they want. They carry AK-47s. They have their own distinct family groups that they use. They're going to find a way to make war, and we're going to go to Sudan and part of Africa. Of course, there's a couple of oil bids there. One of them is for the Chinese government in Sudan. Another one is for, of course, the American government, and they have government paid for armies protecting oil wells in Africa. And the Chinese, much the same. They've made reparations with local terrorist organizations who have said that if they don't get a slice of the pie, they're going to start waging war against their oil wells, which of course they can't have any of that. America, imagine 50 billion for infrastructure repairs, and those poor folks wouldn't have had to die on that bridge. We're willing to give away money to terrorist organizations of two types, but we're not willing to repair our own infrastructure. We're not willing to do education, because the dumbing down of a nation means the best thing you can get away with is a handgun. That's all you're going to understand. You oppress the people, you take away their money, you take away their survivability, you take away their ability to live, breathe. Give them nothing left to fight for, they'll fight for nothing. Which is probably what your aim is, your final goal, your ultimate passion. Believe me, America. The U.S. Treasury is our bank, and I know in my last one I screwed up like 4, 5, 6, 12 dozen times, pointing out that the Federal Reserve is our bank. It's not our bank. The U.S. Treasury is our bank. Our congressmen are supposed to be paid directly out of the U.S. Treasury. And when I say Americans will need to surrender their gold, fact is after it's all said and done, when we change money, green script for red, which means now we have green money, and right after that we'll just change the colors. We'll just change the printer's ink to red. We'll utilize private citizen gold to rebuild Fort Knox and reback our dollar, so it will, once again, will become the strongest individual monetary form in the world, which absolutely is the power. Frankly, I'd like to see the elimination of all money, because when someone doesn't have money, they don't mind shooting someone else to take their money so that they can eat, and to them that's justified, because they're starving. That's why they steal. That's why they do all the things that they do, because they're hungry, they're homeless, they're without everything but a dream, and they still have a dream and imagination. But the reality is they don't know how to bring about it. And since Americans aren't teaching this freedom, the true freedom in America is small business incentive, and finding out what you love to do and doing it for the rest of your days. I was lucky. I went through several career choices before I found out what I really love to do. And I found out that actually 3 of them I really love to do, but one of them is more practical than the rest. So I do one, which is a mechanical job, and I love to cook. I always love to cook. And I mean, there's a couple other passions I have. I love baseball. I could never have a career in baseball. I'm just, you know, I just always saw it more of fun than as a career choice. Probably should have stuck with it with the kind of money they're getting paid. But I'm getting off my point. My point is money around the globe, and all of this is oil motivated. If we took away all their means, the hydrogen tap system makes an engine run on a glass of water, and it is practical, and it does work. A car went 112 miles on 4 ounces of water. 4 ounces of water is all it consumed, all the hydrogen from it. Welding equipment being used to do this. I mean, this comes back to energy and conservation. But if your government told you the truth and said that, you know what, we don't have a need for oil anymore, because now we can run cars on water, what would that do to oil companies? Oh, well, maybe they can get into the hydrogen tap automobile business making cars. Americans don't buy American cars because for the last 20 years they've been mostly crap. You know, road noise isn't necessarily a factor. So if you buy an upscale automobile, you find out that yeah, you have less road noise, and you have basically the same amount of gas mileage. Maybe you're off by 2 because of the extra interior. All of these things could defeat themselves. So I don't know where else to turn as far as energy and conservation. There's a generator available, and it's a 5 kilowatt generator. It runs on 115 volts of electricity. So a motor this big around and this long runs a 5 kilowatt generator. A 5 kilowatt generator can run 1 to 2 homes, depending on the size of the home, of course. So this one motor that you would pay for would operate this gigantic generator to supply energy for your entire home. And this would convert the use of electricity and the burning of fossil fuels in power plants. 30 billion for this country, 20 billion for that country, 18 billion for another, and 0 for America. Our children can't read. Johnny can't read, Johnny can't read, Johnny can't read. Who cares about that statement? If you're not teaching your children how to read, that's partially your fault. It's also partially schools' faults. Because as much as we can affirm our children, schools give them positive identity as far as grades. And if your teacher can't teach, then it's no wonder that Johnny can't read. So America, we need to take a step in the positive direction concerning all of these things, and start looking to ourselves and finding the way. Because when Congress approves X amount of billion for more war projects rather than extraction, there's no point. So this is a call for you to call your congressman or your senator and find out where they're really at. Find out what their position really is. And most of these Republicans, they want to tell you that they're going to align themselves with the president. Well, if they're aligning themselves with the president and the president's against the people, then they are against the people. Because the people who voted them into office, you aren't listening to us anymore. You could care less. You're going to do what you want to do. And you think you're doing things in our best interest? Lobbyists do not work for us. A free network, completely, absolutely free internet. Absolutely. Because these people want to enslave your internet, and I'm going to put up a link on this video to show you where and why they're trying to do it and how they're trying to make even more capitalism and block freedom. They want to do it again, America. The Constitution of the Internet of the world needs to be defended as well. So we need to contact our congressman, not that it does any good, but we need to. And we need to get out and take care of this quickly. Free America.